Welcome to The Game is Growth. This is my vlog where I share my entrepreneurial journey with you as a coach and as a practitioner. So Baker Street just concluded a quarterly pulse yesterday. If you're not familiar with those, that comes from EOS. I'm a huge fan, not an implementer, but a practitioner. One of the things that you can get out of these quarterly pulses when you're the owner, the founder, the number one, is just a great recap of what's working and what isn't working. It can be cathartic. Yeah. It was just like any entrepreneurial experience. Every fucking day is highs and lows. And I was coming into it the day prior, and even the morning leading up to it, if I'm being honest, just kind of gutted. And there's nothing rational, where you're like, oh my God. And so we've got a retreat coming up every February. I host a mastermind retreat. And I don't know, it's probably just me with events. I love hosting, but I kind of go like, why am I doing this to myself? I don't know if you've got a similar feel, but yeah. And honestly, I hate to do the let me know in the comments, but let me know in the comments if you have this feeling of why am I doing this? And and we're half full. We are in our third year of doing this. I've learned so much about how to host events like this. The first 2 times I've lost, $10,000 each. It was not without its whoopsies. And so it's not a low cost thing overall to be putting on. But it's funny, it's like inviting people. My son this week has a birthday party, and I kind of, it's the same feelings. And then we kind of go into this quarterly pulse, and it's like, oh, hey, actually, we've never had this many people signed up at this point in the year, or here's some details that we want to work out in the next 90 days. And you kind of feel like you're on a roller coaster, or it's a blur, and it's an entrepreneurial journey. And then when you write down what's working, what's not working, and then start to theme it, God, it feels good. So right now, as you can hear with a couple of those oopsies, Baker Street is running a loss. I've been okay with that. And if I can't really go into, basically next spring, I'm going to give you the story of selling my company, and it came with a non-compete, non-solicit, and I don't want to say anything disparaging because I can't. And I want to share all the details of it because I want to be transparent. But I should probably wait until that 3 years is up, Anyway, I spent summer 2023 thinking what's next. And what came out of it was wanting to launch 5 businesses. And I also wanted to coach. And so here I am, Coach Ben. We've got a baker's dozen worth of personalized coaching clients. We're slowly growing a group coaching program, which I would love for you to join. Thegameisgrowth.com is the domain. It is dirt cheap, and I am putting everything I can to make sure that you feel like you're getting value. But it's our big endeavor this fall, and so we're spending lots on marketing, lots of effort on making sure it's kind of high functioning from day one. Right? A lot of entrepreneurial things start out, your kind of minimum viable product can be kind of shitty. I'm trying to avoid that. I'm not someone who falls prey to kind of an obsession about perfection. I do have a bias for action, which is great. But anyway, one of the things is it started as maybe a little too lifestyle business, and then we hired up pretty big, pretty quick this year. And it's me making a bold entrepreneurial bet that the key roles that we added around people experience and kind of data and finance, having another coach with seniority, if you've kind of seen previous posts, John, on the team. If you build it, they will come. I think kind of a bit of a privilege and flex to be able to use that money to build a robust team. It was also in preparation because if you've seen some of my other videos with Penelope on me, I'm a dad to now 3 kids. What's kind of fun is I have my little gold here. On a trip with a fellow entrepreneur, we went and got a couple pieces to represent Matthew and Mariella, and then I had him get another one when he was up north for a penny. And when you're an entrepreneur and you can't hustle or you can't put just your time, like you need to build a team. And so I did that. I wanted to model that Baker Street is a sort of entrepreneurial coaching organization, not just self-employment for me. But here let's go over some of the things that we're working well. Engagement with clients. We've had that team start to go and engage with more and more of the personalized clients. So it's not just me interacting with everyone. I love it. And as someone who deeply views themselves as a connector, it's pretty fun. So we've been kind of making sure that, so we have our co-invested portfolio of the other companies that I co-own, and then we put some money into. Upcoming video, I'm nervous about it, but I'm going to share with you where I spent $500,000. Potentially, I'm going to show you where I spent $1 million in total. But it's like, yeah, it's very inside baseball there. Anyway, we've been diffusing more of the team around so that I have a spreadsheet of like where everyone is engaged and where they've spent their time and where we can make sure that we're not necessarily just giving equal pressure and time, but like we're not, I don't want to call it cross-selling, but we're engaging across our network. And it's not just me and it's not just our people experience role, I think. What else do we do? We launched The Game is Growth, our group coaching, and we got a wonderfully terrible review. It is a huge gift. If you can get very detailed, very critical feedback early, you have to suss it out whether, maybe some temperature gauge of like, hey, is this person, what is the perspective that they give? Or their perception more to the point. I do think there's a good point to be made around perception versus perspective, and perspective being the more accurate or kind of neutral. And we actually kind of went, oh, okay, let's see what adaptations we can make to the coaching program from this. And I fucking loved it. I also just loved going, hey, the bar is here. What are some practical things that we can do to make some tweaks? It's early days yet, but it felt much better the next time around. We've got our funnel that is live and earning some Amex points right now, at least. So we'll see how that goes from. I actually am keen to show how the funnel proceeds, because one of the organizations in our portfolio is named FNL Agency, Funnel Agency. All its focus is conversion, and I think the more we're public as other entrepreneurs about that marketing engine, the better. Like my background, it took me 7 years to realize that I was good at sales and that I was doing sales even, because I just thought I was getting myself clients so I could feed my family and have enough work for my team. I am insatiable about growth, but I just really didn't think about it as biz dev. And so it's a fairly new era for me. Ironically, my previous business was a marketing agency, but it's a fairly new thing for me to really invest deeply in paid ads and in a funnel and attracting strangers. And I've been, it's a big part of now kind of all the businesses in the network. So it's live, it's going. We previously used this Typeform and WhatsApp for our mastermind retreat. We've shifted, because we're using Circle for the group coaching program. We're like, hey, what if we just go all in? And so we're actually to the point where we're all in. We're not even using Slack anymore. And for those of you that like you're either, if you're in our circle, it's kind of fun is we actually kind of staggered access. And yeah, it's funny because I work with my partner. My friends are in the mastermind program. I work with people that are close with me. My entire life, pretty much other than like a couple people, are in my circle. It's kind of a funny one. It's become a very important app for me. It's been awesome. Hey, if you're Circle and you want to sponsor us, yeah, we're in. Anyway, so we've been using that as a checkout now. And broadly for me, in our 3-year picture, is all our coaching clients are paying via that app on subscription. If you want to have anything one time, you're going to Circle and you're paying there. If you're like me, at the 20-something of the month, I send out my invoices right now. So cards on the table. I haven't improved on that process since I started in 2010. But it is written down into our vision to get out of that trap. And basically everything that is new and emerging, we're making sure to kind of start in that right way. But anyway, Circle's been a big one. We're loving our team dynamic. And that wasn't just kind of gushing. It's like, when you do another team that's totally gelling, it's a thing. Shout out to Becca on our team. Becca was kind of brought in July. Chris was a spring hire. He reached out. Our kind of data and finance role was just like tailor made for him. But then when kind of Becca joined, it was just sort of like the final ring and Thanos's glove. Not a ring, of course. Anyway, point being is one of the risks I took this summer was, yes, the team is bigger than maybe it needed to be. Like I said, with the loss, but the advantage was it was a fucking team, and there's kind of diversity of experience, there's perspective, there's skill set, personality. And I think there's something to, like, you pull a whole team together, they'll hold themselves together better. And that was so important to me leading into, September, just like weeks ago, Penelope was born. And so Gary, who's producing this video, he's had, you've had some back and forth, and I really appreciate you, Gary. And we had the quarterly meeting without you, and we wanted to kind of pour one out. And but what made my day is you posted videos while that was happening, and it's an entrepreneur's dream when that happens, especially when there's some traction on them. But Gary has been, we had a false start, total amazing content in the future about funnels start, but he is kind of first full-time role for that. We've got key contractors, and it's growing. And man, there's story there for another time. But we mentioned kind of having Gary so involved in summer. He was a big part of the Baker Street team, as well. Just as like I can't really talk about my holding company that much yet. I remember the non-compete, and so we'll for now we'll call it the Silent Cinematic Universe. It is these co-invested companies, and the whole community just feels amazing. And you need to get your ICP, you need to have your ideal customer profile, but again, your culture and your team is up there because they feed one another too. And hey, I sold my first business, like I said, a couple of years ago, and I could be a pensioner and just live off that. And my life, I will never want to have it that simple and straightforward. I do need to simplify. That's a lesson learned there. And meanwhile, I get to be, I bought this condo for my mom, who then decided to partner up with an amazing man. Those two are in Greece right now. My mom has never traveled outside of North America. She almost died a couple years ago. Those of you who know the whole story. She's living her best life right now. I took on this condo. I now call it Coach B&B. It's cost me some money. One is real estate is a bit of a pain in the ass. I'm actually a renter myself. I think there's much better use of money to be entrepreneurial and buy stocks than to buy real estate. And anyway, where I was going with that is just we've kind of built this team, built this environment, and it's awesome. And this Coach B&B here has been a cultural hub as well. I'm trying to make this a place where my coaching clients can stay, where the team that are out of town, home base, this is where we had our quarterly coaching. And this is kind of one thing that's working well is just to have in the remote culture era, you need to have this ability to come together. It's a breathing motion. Go, how do you work from home efficiently? How do you come together? Where do you meet? I think it's a totally other separate episode, Gary, remind me, of conferencing. I've got a short on it, but it's actually really important that you know who is your tribe and how to gather with them. And if you do have a team, how to pull them together. Troy, who's running our recruitment agency in the portfolio, he just hosted a retreat. And yeah, in the age of AI, your relationships, your team, it's going to be a differentiator. What else? Okay. Our kind of fractional and co-invested companies, overall engagement has been good. I am a dodgeball commentator. Isn't that nuts? I have co-commentated several world level dodgeball matches, and I came alongside the broadcast team, and there's also a software team, and we said, hey, let's stop being a theater group and come together and form a corporation, and that way we can sign deals and work with sponsors and really kind of lean into digital media. And one of the things we said is like, hey, they've been working well with the group. They're profitable. It was kind of the one I didn't expect, if I'm being honest. So good on you guys. And I know they're proud of themselves for that. And Chris, he's our data finance lead. He was talking about going from consultant to practitioner. And I think that was such a good lens that he used because coaching and coming alongside, once you kind of are holding or carrying the responsibility, I think clarity and communication around it is so key. And so like just kind of that skill of going, hey, am I like kind of guiding, am I advising, or is this on me? If it's on me, I might take a different posture and be clear about it. That was a good one. A couple new clients, that was a win, of course. We do all the bookkeeping for these organizations, half dozen now in total, as of September 2025, and just finished up a year end, in progress for another year end. I've intentionally had them have scattered year ends, that way we're not all doing it at one time. Lastly, and Becca, she's taken on from myself and Marissa the day-to-day ownership of the regulars retreat, and she's feeling great about that. What didn't work well? Now, whoever talks about this, I think let's wrap it up, right? No. Happy to share this. And I am going to maybe just kind of switch it up for a minute. What's not working? Yeah. Let's talk about what isn't working within Baker Street. Hey, this is kind of needless. I'm going to switch it back. I like this view better. What isn't working within Baker Street right now? Okay, well, let me preface that. When you're the entrepreneur, you're in front of your team, what's not working? It's so tough. It's tough for everybody. How do you say the truth? How do you say what you feel in a way that is beneficial and not too deeply personal, but specific enough that we can make it happen? And there's some reflections that are pointless. Like if there's nothing you can do about it, I actually I was about to say no crying over spilt milk. There's been a lot of spilt milk in this household. And anyway. So we, one of them was a weak spot of mine, pricing. I hate charging people lots of money. Don't tell anyone, but it's just been a vice of mine forever. And it's a scarcity mentality thing. It's like, I'd rather win the business than uphold high standards. And now several businesses in, pricing is just a tough conversation if I'm a part of it. With my previous business that I sold, when we stopped involving me in those conversations, even just for approvals, oh man, revenue. I can be part of the biz dev, but if I'm not the price setter, wow, does it make a difference? Anyways, and it's one of the reasons why our group coaching program is an unbelievable deal. So we had to work on pricing for how to engage the whole team. It was a rock that didn't go particularly well. And without making it too personal, it was like, we were like, hey, this kind of was a stinker. It ended well. We're moving forward with a particular client that it was most needed for. We have clear billing structure. I did encourage the team. It's like, if we could just think of this as like a multi-year journey, that would be better. But still, like it was a kind of known stinker. Any organization that is new can find themselves in this, and I often talk about like finding in 10x is easier than 2x. They talk about finding the David and where Michelangelo is chipping away at the marble, getting to that final thing, and clarity on what we do and what it costs. This is probably where I've got some abundance mindset. And where I approached it was like, hey, we're always getting better, always getting more focused, more clear, and chiseling away at what just is not us. If you can afford it, just have that patience. Or just don't like shit on yourself. Just kind of thing is like, hey, every day I'm kind of learning where the edges are. And whoa, that's skin, right? And you're just getting better at clarity and focus. The key is to not do the opposite. I have 6 businesses in my portfolio because they have 6 purposes. I have 100 ideas in my head, and there's so many other businesses I'd want to start, and many I want to fund. Keeping them separate and distinct is so important. And that's a key part of focus. Maybe it needs a different name. If you want to have clarity within, like sub brands, like do have value, even if you're not a large organization. But anyway, not perfect alignment of what we're currently providing, and we do have a pretty new team, so that'll be kind of par for the course anyhow. And new team, new business. Not surprised. But new team, new business, lack of alignment means no profit. If you want to improve profitability in your organization, you have to start, number one, if you're like me, start saying no to yourself. Hey, I need to put this, Stephen Bartlett calls it on the someday list. Like, oh, I need to put that on the shelf back here. That's such a great idea. What if we didn't implement that? This is just sort of a belief, like if you can just finish a few more things and get more clear and get, how do I want to say it? It's kind of let time do its work and compound. What do you know? Profitability and margins will get there. And my experience of entrepreneurship has been, if it's been anything, is slow the fuck down. Focus, slow the fuck down. Gary, please don't edit out those words, okay? The process of launching our group coaching has not been ideal, but we got there, right? Our future revenue around it, a little scary, right? It's kind of, we haven't got enough of a lead flow to really know, okay, this is our return on ad spend, this is our conversion rate. Once that math is clear, it's like all of a sudden you have a new asset, right? You have like, oh, I have these stats and I can turn these dials. We're not there yet. It's September. Okay. Low circle engagement. Getting this group of people to communicate on Medium has been a challenge. TBD on whether it'll happen. It is one thing we came up with as this is sort of me jumping ahead, is someone to manage the group coaching program as a whole. If I had unlimited funds and things just magically paid for themselves, that'd be a role we would have right away. A product owner for our group coaching. And what might be fun is, does that happen a year from now? Can I wait 3 years? Do we ever get there? Who knows? That's why I'm doing this video. Well, not solely that way. Okay, what else? Our admin and bookkeeping was a maybe disproportionate use of our co-invested time. We'd like it to be more of the people experience, data side of things. Then we also need to use technology better. I had a dream that bots and agents were going to take over one of our roles. It has not happened yet, kind of in any meaningful way at all. Is AI barely going to get better, or is it going to take over our lives? September 2025. We're still at does it get slightly better or way, way better? Anyway, so that hasn't been an overall win on our end. Very, very manual labor still. We still have a couple of organizations that don't have their budget for the year ahead, their forecast, or a clear financial model. And so that maybe as a foreshadow became one of Chris's rocks. A couple of the organizations, aside from ourselves, are in a loss position. One particularly, I'll leave that just between us to give them some privacy. But it was one of the things that led to a key priority for Baker Street to have a break-even quarter. Not an issue for the team, an issue for this guy to avoid being too entrepreneurial. And then one of our newest companies, or I guess our newest, needs to get going on earning cash, sending out invoices, having good process around that. Right now, it's very much tied to me. If you know Andrew Wilkinson, he says he's Teflon for tasks. I kind of want to have that level of audacity, but so I'm kind of task-oriented in my interests, but it is a sign of a bottleneck when your key person, like me, is doing those types of roles. Anyway, so we noted that's not a great thing. Our finances, because two of the organizations in our portfolio were kind of birthed out of Baker Street, made for overly complicated, messy finances. I've been kind of delaying how I set up my holding company and money into the holding company and out to the organizations. Just made for things to be unnecessarily complex. And complexity doesn't scale, right? Our finances have more transactions, which means more work because I'm doing these little piddly things here and there. And that's a habit of mine that is hard to break. Our onboarding, I've kind of circled that as next quarter's like top priority. It's got to be amazing. But our onboarding has not been. Hard for some of the team to prioritize particular client needs. So we've talked about project management system. We need to make sure there's complete alignment on our forecasting, the accounting system, and reporting for a template. That's not yet done. And then our ability to kind of upsell, cross-sell, and kind of find other opportunities has not been great. We have amazing opportunities before us. And there's sort of a good pleasure pain of like when you kind of feel as like there are opportunities that we're just not capturing. I'd much rather be in that position than going like, where are the opportunities, right? What have we done kind of thing, right? So, and then, I've been kind of testing out different ideas for coaching meeting length. I had 30 minutes with a couple of clients, and it's just not been great. It goes by way too fast. And then, is there anything else that's left that's kind of meaningful to share with you? Well, you know what? Our marketing funnel was maybe 2 months delayed. That 2 months was very stressful. It was in my forecasts to be 2 months prior. Maybe a takeaway for me has been, again, that patience of like, well, it happened and it's going. How do I maybe put more patience into a forecast or more pragmatism? Or when the push doesn't quite land as quick as desired, how to just be okay with it and go, well, it cost me this much. I wanted to be higher. I'm not someone who wants to be too pragmatic and too cautious. I like the ambition and audacity of kind of pushing for quicker and more and that sort of thing. But not to be so deeply convicted to a particular outcome. So it's like when it doesn't happen, it's just like, oh my God, I'll never financially recover from this. So, okay. We went, by the way, when you do the quarterly, you go through your personal and professional big quarterly wins. A big personal one for me, of course, is the birth of my daughter. And it is such a reinvigorating time of life. I think I'm going to do some separate videos around being an old dad and being an entrepreneurial dad. It is cool. And there's a shitload that's similar around serial entrepreneurship, I'll tell you that. So, key discussions that we had and priorities that came out, break even. That became number one. Hey, this is our North Star this quarter. I started having conversations with our accounting firm, with some suppliers, with around training. Like, hey, does this need to happen now, or could this start December 1? Had $3,000 to $5,000 in quick wins from that. We're still staying focused on our key revenue targets for break even. But it was a discipline feature to be like, hey, we hit this, we're unlocked for future quarters. Our service list and our pricing, there were some key things of how do we continue to define our offer better. Some things that are not addressed this quarter, right? If you know you're a going concern and you're going to be here for a decade on a long-term mission, it's okay to name things and say, hey, we're not going to attack this quarter. We're not going to do this quarter. It needs to be clear that it is like Donald Rumsfeld talks about known knowns, known unknowns. I know it was a weird speech, but it actually ended up landing for people in such a profound way, because we would be like, hey, this is something we need to explore, but we're not exploring now. It is important, but it is not this quarter's urgency. We need to deal with this quarter's priorities, which will put us in a great position to deal with that thing. We are not going to command ourselves in advance to tackle that priority next quarter. We need to get to next quarter, see what we've done, and then make a decision. And so one of the valuable things about the quarterly process is going, hey, what are the things that we need to achieve within the year ahead? Being clear about what the quarter is, and kind of shutting up and shutting off all the other things that are not that quarter's priorities, and being like a Roman phalanx and just like, we are going to get through this quarter, okay? I don't know if that was just for me or for the team or for you. A 90-day mindset is probably the biggest thing I'm obsessed with. And it's like me with the kind of the sports aesthetic, but it's also just kind of going, stay disciplined, stay on target. In 90 days, you don't want to be locked into a particular thing, but you want to be on the same mission. That is how you get so much value out of life, exponential growth with a business, enterprise value. Anyway, so group coaching remains our top priority. We listed targets around revenue, number of customers, engagement around circle, our review score. And but we said, hey, there's no clear owner other than the owner. F&L is something that is a key priority within the portfolio that we're going to be continuing to grow. And there's a new employee forecasted to be hired for it. It needs an overall structure around forecasting, pricing, that sort of thing. It's pretty clear what the overall vision is, who the key players are. And then we're bringing in one of our fractional services clients in the quarter ahead. We do bookkeeping, like I said, for half a dozen organizations. We went, here's all these things that we can improve. And the key mandate that Chris and others have is this is data, not money. Bookkeepers view it as money, and frankly, they like shoveling. When you like shoveling, more shit is no big deal. When you think like a programmer and when you think like data, you're going to view it very differently. And if this is not just an obligation for me to get work done and finish my shift, if this is intel, if this is information that could guide me, I need to treat it differently. And so we had about 7 or 8 things that we want to improve this quarter around that, and I'm excited for it. Okay. And then our mastermind program, we call it regulars. We had about 10 things to get ready, more invites, and kind of getting details of shuttles and gifts and setting our roles in place. And I invite 2 key speakers, and it's a fun. It's me vacationing with friends. No, I like to call it as the entrepreneur's New Year's. And forming an annual tradition around this. Yeah. Well, what's fun is, hey, Gary, just so you know, we did commit to crossing 100 videos uploaded before the end of November. We are committed to getting 1,000+ views per week. It kind of feels weird to share this on YouTube, what our goal is. And I don't want to say it, I'm so nervous. We want to cross 50 subscribers. Is that a low total? I think that's a low total. We're only at 13 right now. That's transparency. That's authenticity. We're not doing it for the views. This is an exploration and being able to just have a part of this business be connected to everyone and provide free content. But those are our goals. I'm going to set a goal adding 2 more personalized coaching clients. The issue is not the demand part. The issue is me being able to have that in my calendar to have 2 more clients, which means the team is able to do more of their day-to-day work without input. And there's more consistency in how I'm going about my week and that sort of thing. And of course, life back home and being able to juggle. And then we're making some changes to our scorecard, making sure that we're tracking things around the funnel and circle and other kind of marketing metrics. And so what came of it, I'm not going to dive into the individual items of what our priorities were, but what we actually did is kind of a little bit of a different take than what EOS normally recommends, is just choosing your rocks. What I did is like, hey, let's describe as if it is the end of the quarter and we're doing our next quarterly session. What is a very specific way that we can kind of define as the wins of the quarter? We talked about what was working, what wasn't working, and what are kind of these key priorities. And then we wrote them out and then said, okay, let's define who is the person that got us there. Who is accountable for that? And thus created the rocks. And the thing that I have to remember is to like, all right, let's stay on this. We do have a section for next quarter where already I wrote down 2 things. We're like, oh, I really want us to take on this. And you know what? Let's just add 1 more. Better homes, like branding using the Polaroids. Because look at this. Sherlock Holmes themed organization, and that is our team meeting. Oh man, we want that branding. But Gary and the team, we can wait until next quarter for that. That was 40 minutes of me talking. And Gary, feel free to do very minimal editing because we want to ship and we want to get this out the door. And frankly, we just got to hit those 100 videos. If you're watching this, if you're one of those people, thank you. I want to be producing more content. I want to be sharing what's going on. We're going to be sharing over time more of what's going on within the half dozen other organizations that we're a part of. I've been doing entrepreneurship for 15 years. It is a lonely journey. The whole thing that I'm trying to do is make it feel like it's not alone for you. I don't want to make it feel like I'm alone for me. So I'm working together with lots of other people. And so you can join us. If you have things you'd want me to talk about, I get it that there isn't like a billion comments or anything here. I'm not doing the like, what's up fam? But no, really is, I would like user-guided content. And so I hope this makes it clear that we're willing to share lots. And I've kind of staked it that there's a few key things Gary needs to remind me to follow up with as for videos. What's cool is none of these businesses existed March 2023. And we are predicting quarterly revenue within the portfolio of $215,000. And it basically breaks down as 110, 40, 30, 20, 10, 15. So decent variety. Of course, there's like an anchor in the group. Yeah, so tune in. Please subscribe. Please like, comment. I would love to engage. Ta-ta for now.